Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing in the middle of a flavor-filled aisle at a massive, bustling supermarket in the UK. Relaxing your gaze before a vibrant wall of countless spice jars glittering under the lights, you reach out and take down a packet of East End paprika with a remarkably friendly price tag of just about £1. In your other hand, you carefully pick up a glass jar of Spanish smoked paprika that boasts a much more premium appearance, feels noticeably heavier, and carries a steeper price ranging from £3.5 to over £4. If right at this moment we were to pour both spices onto a pristine white plate, they would reveal something seemingly simple and utterly identical down to the millimeter. Vibrant, crimson red, finely milled sweet pepper powder. However, behind that astonishing visual similarity lies a vast, gaping void of information. While the £1 packet remains absolutely silent, refusing to offer a single tiny clue about which plot of land on earth that pepper grew from, the expensive jar has the power to transport your imagination to a strictly protected agricultural region, where peppers are slowly dried over oak wood fires deep within the heart of Spain. Welcome to Basket Verdict. In today's landmark investigation that cuts straight to the roots of the food industry, we are tearing back the mysterious curtain of the global supply chain. We are not here to cause panic. We are not trying to find out which spice tastes the best. And we are absolutely not here to judge which brand contains toxic chemicals. The single, piercing question we are placing on the scales today is this: where is there transparency? When you buy a jar of powder where the naked eye cannot distinguish the authentic from the fake, do the brands dare to explicitly name the land that nurtured their spices? How meticulously do they describe their processing methods? Are those beautifully printed cellophane claims like premium ingredients, expertly harvested, or the perfect selection, backed by concrete evidence that you can independently verify? Or are they all just hollow verbal magic tricks performed by the marketing department to empty your wallet? Before we embark on the journey of filtering through the 10 spice brands dominating the shelves, we must first disarm the 3 most sophisticated linguistic traps this industry frequently uses to manipulate consumer psychology. The first trap is named "Packed in the UK." Many brands deliberately print this phrase in large, proud letters on the front, creating a comforting and relatable sense of local standards, while secretly sweeping the true geographical origin of the raw ingredients under the rug. You must always stay sharp and remember that where they operate the machinery to pour powder into a jar and where the seeds sprout under the sun are 2 entirely different stories. The second trap is the illusion of purity. A brand might proudly declare in bold fonts that their product is 100% pure, free from adulteration, and contains no preservatives. Yet that chemical purity has absolutely nothing to do with traceability. The fact that they do not disclose the origin does not mean the product is adulterated or contaminated with dirt. It simply means they are stripping away your right to know where your food comes from. And the third trap is a visual one. An expensive price tag wrapped in a luxurious glass jar with a gleaming gold lid does not automatically provide you with more truth than a cheap spice packet wrapped in ordinary plastic. Now, let us glide past the 7 brands that lack the compelling power to stand among the most transparent, starting with the most unassuming choices in the budget segment. East End's Paprika range possesses a price point that would thrill any thrifty shopper, sitting at just about £10 a kilogram. However, when you turn the packaging over in search of a shred of information, all you receive is the brief product name and a phrase so generic it becomes meaningless: foreign produce. You cannot ascertain the country, you will not find the growing region, there is not a single shadow of a farm, nor any clue regarding the processing method. Of course, the phrase "foreign produce" is perfectly legal and violates no regulations, and the £10 price genuinely makes it a fantastic economical choice to stock up your kitchen cupboards. But if judged on the matrix of transparency, it hits the absolute rock bottom. Raja delivers a similarly vague sensation, Sold at 14 pounds a kilogram, Raja parades very smooth and reassuring promises such as 100% pure or expertly sourced. Yet when it comes to what savvy consumers need most, the identity of the raw material region, the coordinates of those farms where their experts work, the brand resolutely leaves it blank. Tesco's supermarket does not escape this spiral of silence either. Their own label Paprika is priced at 22 pounds a kilogram. They carefully provide comprehensive information on nutritional content, calories detailed down to the gram, and instructions to store in a cool, dry place. Yet they do not utter a single word about the country of origin. With these products, you know exactly what substance you are putting into your body, but where it comes from will forever remain a murky mystery within a colossal supply chain. As we step up into the more expensive segments, the expectation for information naturally rises, but the disappointment refuses to stop. The cook's ingredients range from the premium supermarket Waitrose is positioned at a rather steep price, 40 pounds a kilogram. Surprisingly and rather disappointingly, even though the label offers exceptionally refined and sharp culinary advice, it remains entirely devoid of essential agricultural traceability. At this price threshold, the lack of transparency seems to not have budged or increased proportionally with the extra money customers have to spend. Schwartz, a true giant in the spice industry, commanding a price of up to 50 pounds a kilogram, offers a faint glimmer of hope by proudly revealing that their sweet red peppers are slow-dried, clearly noting, produced in the EU. Although describing a small fraction of the processing method seems a bit more elevated and thoughtful than the budget brands, confining the raw material origin to a massive geographical region named the EU is still too vast a curtain to satisfy rigorous consumers who want to know the intricacies. Meanwhile, the smoked paprika from M&S offers an additional, highly useful and appetizing explanation. Their peppers are carefully dried over wood fires. This information is genuinely valuable for a smoked pepper line, helping buyers visualize the flavor profile. But once again, the old script repeats itself. They do not mention a specific country. They do not specify the type of wood. No protected growing region is named, and there is a total absence of information regarding their supply partner. On the other hand, Ocado Organic Paprika, despite carrying a price of up to 55.5 pounds a kilogram, scores strongly with astonishing honesty. Even though they only state generically on the label, non-UK agriculture and produce of more than one country, they clearly and distinctly provide their Soil Association organic certification number. The greatest merit of the Ocado brand is that they would rather accept exposing a broad origin, acknowledging their global blend, than deliberately fabricating a romantic but baseless myth about a single agricultural land just to manipulate buyers' emotions. Looking at the 7 brands we have just passed, you will bitterly realize a cruel rule of this industry. The majority of brands rely on keeping their supply chains in the dark. Public transparency only truly shines and flourishes when brands have the courage to name the land, expose the production methods, and proudly announce their own supply partners. And this is the exact moment we honor the 3 most outstanding choices, the ones who dared to break the code of silence. Kicking off the transparency tier is Bart, a highly mainstream choice that is easy to find but carries a formidable weight of information. At a price hovering around 2.5 pounds, Bart does not hesitate to straightforwardly confirm that their peppers are entirely grown and harvested on Spanish soil. Elevating things further, their Pimentón de la Vera line unhesitatingly publishes sharp details from every angle. From confirming the origin in the renowned La Vera region, possessing the strict European PDO certification, to describing the slow oak wood drying method lasting up to 15 grueling days, and adhering to the rigorous ASTA 120 color standard. These are not just soulless words printed to fill empty space on the packaging. They are incredibly specific data points, deeply educational gastronomically, and completely verifiable by anyone wishing to dig deeper. Taking a giant leap further into the territory of regional roots, we touch upon Brindisa lacinata. This tin of sweet smoked paprika, priced at about £4.10, provides a level of detail regarding its origin so staggering that it reads more like a legal affidavit than a food label. They precisely identify the La Vera region within Extremadura, proudly asserting that their peppers are only grown in a restricted community of 52 villages, nestled securely within the protected zone. They combine this with the traditional oak smoking method and careful stone milling. Although its price is not cheap and it is classed amongst specialist foods, this fierce, uncompromising commitment to its origin proves they aren't using words just to gloss up the exterior. They are genuinely anchoring the very soul of their product to the strict and historic geographical protection regulations of the old continent. And finally, rising above all rivals to claim the absolute crown for comprehensive transparency, Steenberg's Organic Paprika. Handing over £3 for a mere 55 grams, you are not just buying a jar of imported Spanish organic spice. Steenberg's does something that scarcely any supermarket brand on the market dares to execute. They bravely disclose the exact name of their long-standing supplier, Felix Reverte S.A., located in the Murcia region, and proudly share across public platforms about their collaborative relationship that has spanned nearly 2 decades. Furthermore, this brand is a bold pioneer in publishing heavy metal test results, as well as chemical structure authenticity tests from independent third-party laboratories for their organic cinnamon and turmeric lines. While this does not guarantee that every single batch of paprika leaving the factory is flawlessly perfect without a blemish, this unprecedented openness in exposing the entire supply chain and publishing testing data has turned Steenberg's into a shining beacon of transparency, where consumers are treated as intelligent partners, respected with factual evidence rather than being victims of the art of marketing. To become a razor-sharp shopper, confidently mastering your own kitchen and wallet, you must engrave in your heart that no choice is entirely wrong as long as you know exactly what you are paying for. If the family budget is the top priority, budget options like East End, Raja, or Tesco are completely sensible economic decisions. You need not torment yourself for being unable to afford expensive spice jars. You simply need to understand and accept that you are trading off a cheaper price in exchange for receiving less information about the origin. But once you are ready to pay a premium and yearn to know the truth behind your meals, prioritize searching for highly authentic keywords. Do not let yourself be blinded by hollow, grandiose, yet senseless adjectives like premium, finest, or hand-harvested. Train your habit to look for solid, weighty nouns. Spain, the Murcia region, the La Vera area, PDO certification, a soil association code, or the name of an independent testing organization. Finally, always remember one crucial truth. The absence of traceability information does not at all mean that it is a toxic, filthy, or adulterated jar of spice. It is simply the act of depriving you of the most definitive evidence so you can independently evaluate its true value. Returning to the vibrant layers of red powder we compared at the beginning of the story. Under the supermarket lights, to the naked eye, they look identical, without a single deviation. But the surface of one package only coldly whispers exactly one blunt and emotionless word to you: paprika. Another package acts like an open book, painting before your eyes an entire vivid journey, stretching across continents and oceans. From a sun-drenched, arid farming land, a sustainable organic cultivation system, a traditional wood-fired drying process, right up to the most rigorous third-party verification certifications. For spices that have been crushed into a fine powder, completely losing their original form, transparency is not about deliberately cramming as many flowery words as possible onto a cramped label. True transparency is the ability to render the entire dark, complex supply chain as crystal clear as glass right before your very eyes. Send and share this video with your loved ones. Those who are still comfortably hoarding sealed spice jars in their kitchen cupboards year after year without once trying to turn them around to read and discover the truth. Thank you for always accompanying Basket Verdict. May you always make transparent, sharp consumer choices. Never fall into a trap, and see you in our next captivating investigative unveilings.